My son asked to borrow my truck for a job interview. I gave him my last $50 for gas. He never came back. 2 days later, I got a picture from my sister. He was at a casino laughing with her ex. I called him furious. He said, "You were always just a wallet to me." I sat there, numb. But then I saw something in the background of that photo that changed everything. Let me tell you about the moment I stopped being a father and started being something else. Not out of choice, but survival. I'm a 52-year-old mechanic living in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Not a flashy life, but an honest one. I raised my son Caleb mostly on my own after his mom left. She walked out when he was 10, ran off with some guys she met online. After that, Caleb got quiet. Withdrawn. I tried to be there for him, school plays, little league, late-night talks. But every time I thought I was getting through, he'd pull away again. I figured maybe time would fix it. Fast forward to last month. I was just getting home from a 10-hour shift at the shop when Caleb called. First time in almost 4 months. He said he had a job interview up in Eau Claire. Sales position. "Dad, I'm trying to turn things around," he said. "But I need a favor. Can I borrow your truck?" I didn't say anything for a second. My gut was already screaming no. The last time he borrowed it, he came back 3 days late with a cracked windshield and a speeding ticket. But I wanted to believe him. He sounded sincere. Maybe this really was his turning point. I handed over the keys the next morning. Gave him my last $50, 2 gas money, food just in case. I had $12 left in my wallet after that. He gave me a half hug and said, "Thanks, Dad. I'll call after the interview." He never did. Day 1 passed, no call. I texted him. Nothing. Day 2, I started to worry. Tried calling, but it went straight to voicemail. Then my sister, Michelle, texted me a photo. No words, just a picture. It was Caleb, in a damn casino. Leaning back in a red leather chair, drink in hand, laughing his ass off. And sitting next to him, Rick, my sister's ex. The same bastard who scammed my whole family almost a decade ago. Stole my dad's shotgun. Emptied Michelle's savings. Walked out before the cops could even slap cuffs on him. I felt like someone dumped a bucket of cement in my chest. I called Caleb. He answered. "Where are you?" I asked. My voice was shaking, but I kept it level. "Why do you care?" he said. "I gave you everything I had left. You said you had a job interview. That was a lie." Then he said it. "You were always just a wallet to me." And he hung up. I sat there staring at the phone. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. My own son. The kid I used to carry on my shoulders, feed chicken nuggets to when he was sick. Saying that like I was a damn vending machine. But then, I looked at that picture again. And I saw something. In the glass behind him, reflected in the casino window, was my truck. My old blue Chevy Silverado. I'd know it anywhere. Still parked outside. And in the bed, locked under the hard shell cover, was something I never gave him, my toolbox. My Snap-on set. 25 years worth of tools. The one thing I swore I'd never let go of. Worth 4, maybe 5 grand. I suddenly wasn't just angry. I was focused. That box was mine. And Caleb just made the mistake of forgetting it was still in reach. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I told my boss I had a family emergency. He didn't ask questions. I don't call in unless it's serious. I packed a duffel bag, grabbed the spare key to the truck, and drove my old Honda Civic up to Green Bay. The casino in the photo was the Oneida Casino just off the highway near the airport. I got there just after 10 a.m. and parked across the lot facing the side entrance. My truck was still there. That old Chevy had a busted rear tail light, a dent on the right fender, and a crooked antenna. Easy to spot. But what made my stomach twist was that Caleb had scratched off my veteran parking decal from the windshield. Like he wanted to erase me. I sat in my car and waited. Watched people come and go. I saw security walk the lot, but they didn't pay much attention to the vehicles. I knew I couldn't just take the truck. If Caleb reported it stolen, even though it was legally mine, it'd be a mess. I needed to be smart. Around 12:30, I saw him. Caleb walked out the side door with Rick beside him. Caleb had a fresh haircut, new shoes, and was wearing a bomber jacket I'd never seen before. Probably paid for with my gas money. They were laughing, heading to a bench to smoke. Rick lit up, leaned back like he didn't have a care in the world. I kept low in my seat, heart pounding. This was the first time I'd seen Caleb in person since Christmas. He looked older. Harder. Like life had already chewed him up, and instead of getting humble, he got slick. I waited until they went back inside. Then I made my move. I crossed the lot fast, keeping my head down. I unlocked the truck, popped the back, and there it was, my toolbox. Heavy as hell, bright red, still sealed tight. I loaded it into my Civic's trunk and locked it. Then I wiped my fingerprints off the tailgate and left the keys in the center console. Let him figure that one out. I drove to a friend's place across town, Jason, an old Navy buddy. He let me stash the toolbox in his garage. That was the first part of my revenge. But I wasn't done yet. That night, I went back online. I started digging. Michelle still had old emails and messages from when she was with Rick. He used the same username on everything. Wolf Delta 71. Amateur move. I followed the trail. Found his Instagram. Private. But the profile picture was him. Shirtless, holding a beer, sitting on a boat. A boat with a very specific registration number on the side. That's when the second piece of the puzzle clicked. Rick wasn't just partying. He was scamming again. The kind of scam I knew too well. He'd started flipping boats without titles. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, even OfferUp. Selling the same boat to 2 or 3 buyers. Taking deposits, then vanishing. I printed everything. Made a burner account. Started contacting people who commented on his posts. Most ignored me. But one guy responded. Said he paid Rick $2,500 for a boat that never showed up. I gave him my number. We talked. Turns out Rick had a whole string of victims. Some were already talking about a class action lawsuit. But they didn't know where he was. I did. And if my son was dumb enough to stay glued to that man, he was going to sink right along with him. I started talking to the other victims. One by one, they opened up. Some had phone numbers. One had a bank transaction. Another sent me a screenshot of a video call with Rick, where he showed off the same boat he'd already sold to 3 other people. The more I gathered, the clearer it got. This wasn't just a string of small-time cons. This was interstate fraud. So I did something I never thought I'd do again. I called my ex-wife. She answered like she was shocked I still had her number. Her voice was cold, like always. But when I told her what Caleb was caught up in, how he was running with Rick, the same guy who helped destroy her sister's life, she went quiet. I knew something was off, she finally said. He came by last week in a new jacket, flashing money. I asked him where it came from. He just smiled. Of course he did. I asked her if she still had contacts at the DA's office. She used to work in court filing years ago. She hesitated. I'll see what I can find, she said. But I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for Caleb. Because you sure as hell didn't raise him to turn out like this. That one stung, but I let it go. Because we were finally on the same side of something. While she poked around, I went back to watching. I stayed 2 nights at a motel across from the casino waiting for the right moment. I needed to know what Caleb was doing day to day. I needed proof that he wasn't just with Rick, he was in on it. On the 3rd night, I got it. Around 9 p.m. I followed them from the casino to a marina on the outskirts of town. There, under a dim light, they met with a guy in a pickup truck. I parked a ways off and used an old pair of binoculars from my Navy days. Rick opened the boat, same one from the Instagram photo, and gave the guy a tour. Caleb stood back, arms crossed, nodding along like he'd done this before. After about 15 minutes, the buyer handed over an envelope. I saw Rick pass it to Caleb. That was it. That was what I needed. I took pictures, zoomed in as best I could. I even got a shot of the license plate on the buyer's truck. The next morning, I sent everything to Michelle. She sent it all to the guy Caleb conned and the others in the message thread. One of them forwarded it to a lawyer already working on fraud charges. By noon that day, I got a call from my ex-wife. They're opening a file, she said. DA's office is requesting more info. If they can tie Caleb to Rick's deals, he'll be named as a co-conspirator. I felt sick. I should have felt satisfied. But the idea of my own son being dragged into a court case? It twisted something in me. I didn't want Caleb to go to prison. I just wanted him to feel the weight of what he'd done. To understand what it meant to burn the one person who never gave up on him. That night, I left him a note. I drove back to the casino, found the truck, and slipped an envelope into the glove box. Inside, I put one of the pictures from the marina, a copy of the buyer's info, and a handwritten letter. All it said was, "You weren't just my son. You were the last person I trusted. That trust is gone now. Look at the picture. That envelope you took? That was the moment you crossed the line. The DA has your name. There's still time to do the right thing. But don't come back to me looking for mercy. I'm not a wallet anymore. Dad, I don't know if he's read it yet. But 2 days later, I got a call. Blocked number. I picked up. It was Caleb. His voice was shaking. They're looking for Rick, he said. They came to the hotel. They asked me questions. I said nothing. Dad, did you do this? I waited. Let the silence stretch. Dad? You picked your side, Caleb, I said. Now deal with it. Then I hung up. And for the first time in a long time, I finally slept through the night. A week later, I got another call. This time from Michelle. Turn on the news, she said. Rick had been arrested. Turns out he tried to run. Got as far as Michigan before the state troopers caught him at a gas station outside Saginaw. Someone tipped them off. I don't know who. Maybe one of the boat buyers. Maybe Caleb. Doesn't matter now. The article said he was facing federal charges. Wire fraud, mail fraud, conspiracy. That boat flipping scam went back 3 years. Over $130,000 stolen. But what hit harder was the last line. A second individual is currently cooperating with authorities. I knew who that was. I didn't hear from Caleb for another 2 weeks. Then I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting right away. Inside was a folded sheet of notebook paper. Just one paragraph. I didn't know how deep it went. I thought I could make a little cash and help Rick move stuff around. But I saw the pictures. I saw what you did. And yeah, you got me good. I told them everything I knew. I don't know what's gonna happen now. But I get it. I get what I did. And I'm sorry. No, love, Caleb. No request for forgiveness. Just facts. That was the first honest thing he'd given me in years. A month after Rick's arrest, Caleb was officially charged as a co-conspirator. He took a plea deal. 2 years probation, mandatory community service, and financial restitution to 2 of the victims. He got off lighter than he should have because he flipped on Rick. But he still lost everything. The job offers dried up. His name got out. His reputation? Gone. He called again, once. Do you hate me? He asked. I didn't answer right away. I don't hate you, I said. But I don't trust you. And I don't know if I ever will again. There was a long pause. Fair, he said. He hasn't called since. I still see the truck parked in the driveway every morning. Still got the scratch where he keyed off the decal. I left it there. A scar. The toolbox is back in my garage, locked up tight. I still think about what he said, you were always just a wallet to me. But the truth is, maybe I was. I threw money at his problems. Gave handouts instead of hard lines. I thought being there with cash was the same as being there with backbone. That was my mistake. His was thinking that I'd never push back. Now he knows better. And so do I. If there's a lesson in all this, it's that blood doesn't give you a free pass. Family can betray you deeper than anyone else. But it also means you have to fight harder when they do. He took my truck, my money, and nearly took my pride. But in the end, he had to watch it all crash down, while I walked away clean. And that's the kind of revenge that doesn't need yelling or fists. Just silence. And the sound of someone finally hitting bottom. Alone.